He's made entirely of aggro Craig, actually.
Open your mouth, prepare your tongue, because you're about to get a taste.
I cannot believe we've gone 12 episodes without me being able to talk about Final Fantasy.
Well, I know the doll is bad, so I gotta think the Dusty Balloon is less bad.
I mean, if all life everywhere ends, what have I lost?
Facial hair as a theme is not something I ever would have chosen.
So yeah, that's the one that Rock is just sweaty the whole time.
Yeah.
He's got that good pointy Jafar beard.
I've got 3 pages of AMA citations.
This is the Debate This podcast.
Hello and welcome to Debate This, the show where no one is right, but someone is definitely wrong. In this podcast, we take time out of our busy adult lives to talk about comics, video games, and why the PS5 being ultra back compatible could legitimately end the console wars forever. At me if you wanna, but you know I'm right. Since the beginning of history, stories of giant monsters have been intertwined in the fabric of humanity. We have come to call these beasts Kaiju. The Japanese word for strange creature has come to mean giant monster in English. Whether it's the Mothman, the Jersey Devil, or Godzilla, we live under constant threat of their uprising and invasion if you ask the right people.
Wait, was the Jersey Devil a kaiju? I thought he was just like a little miscreant, like a meh.
No, the Jersey Devil's like 7 feet tall.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, you clearly have not watched enough Monster Hunter on Travel History America channel or whatever.
I'm clearly missing out.
Matt, is this also your audition tape for the next as announcer for the next Godzilla movie? Because that read just like the voiceover over the opening credits of the next Godzilla movie.
In a world.
Since the beginning of history, stories of giant monsters. Sorry, go on.
Okay, after that. Anyway, today I'm tasking these dudes to pitch me a shoreline defense from the Kaiju. But why redesign the wheel? In 1987, the Mega Man series began to introduce us to a fleet of robot masters. I've called defense specialists Andrew Ice Spiders Henderson, Kyle Ghost Shark Harper, and Todd Dino Croc Thomas to tell me which supersized robot master will take the front lines to fight the Kaiju. You wanna talk about the nicknames, Kyle?
Oh, I know it. It's all the bad Asylum movies that get played on Sci-Fi Channel, and they all sound like Todd was talking about the manatees pulling idea balls out of the tank earlier, and that's what it sounds like. It's just like ice spiders.
Like,
The world's biggest game of
Write-
my lips.
Write a script.
Call Tara Reid. She's in.
I think if we were in a motorcycle gang, those would be our nicknames.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, because it also sounds like it could be on the back of like a motocross jersey,
Yeah.
or what someone who does amateur MMA calls themselves.
It also, I want to throw this idea out there. When you add spiders to the end of something, it sounds like an illness. Like Andrew's got a bad case of ice spiders. Like,
Well, Ghost Shark is going to be my new handle on Twitch, I think. So
Oh yeah, perfect. It's gonna have to be like XXX Ghost Shark 69 XXX.
My favorite kind of ghost shark.
I don't want to do these jokes anymore. Let's.
All right, anyway, guys, give me the pitch. So the concept here is that we're gonna take a robot master from the Mega Man series. We're gonna blow him up to fucking X feet tall, and he's gonna stand on the Pacific Rim because that's the movie we ripped this concept off of. So tell me which Mega Man game you've chosen a master from. What powers do they have? What makes them stand out? Yeah, it's an intro. You know what to do.
All right, I'm gonna start this off with introducing one of my favorite robot masters from my absolute favorite Mega Man game. He is the Purple Garden, leader of the 8th Armored Battalion, the scourge of the Buster Only Run. That's right, it's Armored Armadillo, the guardian of the mines, the arbiter of absolute pain. I didn't have another title.
I only prepared 2 things.
I've only prepared so much. The rule of 3s. Armored Armadillo is the walking tank of a boss protecting the mines level in Mega Man X. He is the physical manifestation of a good offense is the best. Damn it. Nope. He's the physical manifestation of a good defense is the best offense. He's a rolling, invincible tank of destruction. No matter what the kaiju throw up against him, he's going to brush it off like nothing. Then once he has an opening, he's going to use his invulnerable outer shell to roll their faces into the ground and blow them away with his actual head cannon.
Did you call him the Purple Garden?
Yeah, I would
The
like
Purple
to go
Garden.
back to that.
Yeah, so in the wiki,
Yeah,
in the
I'm
Mega
looking
Man
at
wiki,
Oh, I'm sure.
It's open on like at least 4 tabs on my computer.
apparently, so to be fair,
Uh-huh.
he in one of the cartoons, I guess he's like a samurai, and he has a samurai sword, and he calls that the Purple Garden. So,
Okay.
admittedly, I took a little bit of a liberty, but damn, the Purple Garden, that's pretty good.
Not for a sword's name.
Well, for an armadillo's name,
For
though, it's way
a tranquil
better.
place to like relax as a samurai, yeah.
But like, it's like lulling you into a false sense of security. Like,
No,
oh, you think you're in...
that's his magical Jaeger power?
Yep.
Yeah, because okay,
Good.
so
Good start.
to be clear, I watched Pacific Rim exactly 24 hours ago for the first time, and the main Jaeger was called Gypsy Danger, and nothing strikes fear into the heart of the kaiju like Gypsy Danger and his partner, Purple Garden.
To be fair, I don't know how closely the kaiju are checking the names of the giant battle robots that are fighting them.
You better hope they're not.
If I were 6 years old, I would have been fucking terrified of Gypsy Danger because my parents always told me if I was acting bad, they would sell me to the gypsies. So
That
Gypsy
is
Danger.
Not even that
That's
is not even
problematic
subtly
on a
racist.
lot of levels.
I mean, you grew up in a pretty progressive part of Pennsylvania, right?
Yep.
Do those words go together?
Yep. We had a
Progressive
Walmart. Anyway, let's talk more about Armored Armadillo. Armored Armadillo is the most difficult boss in Mega Man X. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, well, he has a really easy weakness to exploit. That's why I say he's the scourge of the Buster only run, because if you don't use Electric Spark on Armored Armadillo, he is fucking impossible. You can't hit him. He is absolutely invincible. There is a very small window in which you can actually blast him. He's the only boss in the whole game where you essentially have to use his weakness in order to kill him.
Okay, so you have taken like Don Fan the Pokemon from Pokemon Stadium 2, I think, where you had to roll around.
Well, he's from
in a square.
Pokemon. Like,
Well,
you
I
see,
mean,
he's
yeah, but
he's
like
from Pokemon.
the mini game where you like roll around in the square. That's your defense for America. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Great. Moving
Are
on.
you
Oh, go ahead.
are
Todd.
you aware, Andrew Henderson,
Yes, Todd.
that a nickname for the armadillo is Hillbilly Speed Bump? And that is what you are putting in charge of defending the motherland.
I think that's a very good Jaeger name.
I
stand by it.
also
It's
think
better
like
than
that's
Purple Garden.
that's a really good Jaeger name, actually. Like you helped him out there, Todd. That blew up in your face.
And if that's the case, I think it's like different areas of the United States made a Jaeger and brought it to the Jaeger party, and that is like Alabama rolled in. And like, look
I
what we
think
got
armadillos.
here.
I think armadillos are going to be more like Southern Arizona, Texas, but you're definitely wearing a 10-gallon hat while you're piloting this Jaeger. Like it's you have to.
That'll be incredibly funny when we talk about who's going to be piloting it later on.
Oh, good. Well, Kyle, what you got for me?
Well, Matt, I'm gonna. It's hard to believe, but I'm gonna disagree with Andrew and say that the best offense is a good offense. So we don't want to just keep the kaiju at bay. We want to send a message and make sure they go home with their tails tucked between their legs and never come back. And we're gonna do that by pounding them into submission with Gutsman. He hits hard. He throws things, and he's gonna make the kaiju just really regret ever coming to mess with the good old US of A.
Okay, so it was kind of easy with the whole Armored Armadillo thing to know like what Andrew's guy was, but what exactly is a guts man?
His superpower is guts.
Matt, I don't know how that isn't more clear. He is a guts man.
His special power is guts and punching.
Yeah.
So for those of you who don't know, who aren't familiar with Gutsman, his history is that he is a construction robot turned evil by Dr. Wily. He historically punches and throws things. That's his wheelhouse in the Mega Man games is punching things and throwing things. If you think
he's the bulk of the Mega Man universe.
He's the heavy.
He's the heavy. He's the muscle. If you think Donkey Kong in the original arcade game, throwing barrels and raining hell down on you, that's Gutsman.
Okay. Any relation to like the aggro crag?
He's made entirely of aggro crag, actually.
Okay, all right.
Mark O'Malley is his Jaeger pilot.
Yes.
All right.
Right? His name was Mark O'Malley?
Yeah, I
Nope,
think it
it's
was,
Mike
yeah.
O'Malley. It's
Mike O'Malley.
Mike O'Malley, that's it.
I hope he doesn't listen to our podcast.
Gutsman really favors the Purple Panthers. That team when he watches.
We are crossing franchises, not the same thing.
Judging by my knowledge of 90s Nickelodeon, this is the time of the show where I say, let's go to Mo! Mo! That'd be you, Todd. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm not sure when you're given like a near limitless smorgasbord of robot monsters to choose from why you would settle with a metal armadillo and a
Because
robot
he's
with
invincible.
Okay, well, except, if anyone uses electricity against him, which you said, which every robot is going to have, or a robot with no ranged capability and whose special power is punching.
Punching and throwing, Todd. I specifically said throwing, which, if you're not aware, is a ranged attack.
So hopefully he's carrying around... I've seen Gutsman in action, so hopefully you're carrying around Jaeger-sized boulders at the ready to be thrown at the kaiju.
Gutsman is fully prepared to throw Jaegers at Jaegers. That's what we're dealing with here.
Well, so my point is those choices are okay. And for me, the first robot masters that I thought of were just incredibly too overpowered and like unreal for this conversation. So I was thinking like Gravity Man and the one that makes black holes, and then like time control, things that just don't happen.
Why wouldn't you pick a good one?
Yeah.
Because those
Todd,
are
we're trying to
impossible.
defend America
Yeah.
here.
You're not trying to like
you're
put
like,
them on even ground.
Let's keep it fair for these death-dealing monsters and not.
I'm
Were you
saying
trying to put on a show?
No. We're on the same team, kind of, not really. The point is that you can't create a robot that can make a black hole or stop time. That's not a thing. So in our unrealistic podcast, I'm going to make a realistic answer. And I'm coming in with one of the OG robot masters who has to be a Jaeger, and that is Quickman. He is one of, if not the fastest robot masters to exist. He's like from the original Mega Man. He's
from 2.
Yeah, well, I think him and Gutsman are in more of the Mega Man games than anyone else. Like they're the two.
It's Gutsman and Cutman are the two
There you go, yeah.
most represented in the Mega Man.
So Quickman's up there.
He's just in Mega Man 2. He's as represented as every other
now
boss.
that my point's been proven wrong, I'm going to make a baseless claim.
Probably number 3. Who's counting? All the wikis are counting. He wields razor-sharp boomerangs that travel in threes, and he also uses giant razor-sharp boomerangs as blade swords. He is built to be a Jaeger. Also, have you heard the Quickman theme? Because it slaps.
It's
and
really
when
good.
he comes out to fight, it's going to be broadcasted on air raid sirens everywhere, and that's what I'm bringing to the table today. He looks like a Jaeger. Look at him.
What's your plan when you throw these, like, however many boomerangs you got, and they're just gone?
Because they didn't come back.
Well, they're boomerangs, Kyle. And my guy's power is literally to create and throw them, along with being incredibly fast. So
but like,
he's just gonna keep making and throwing more.
But it's not like he's the Flash. Like he's just fast. Like he doesn't do anything by being fast.
Oh, he's not the Flash? Because there is precedent in
Your
the
eyes
Archie
got
comics.
so wide.
There's precedent of his appearance in the Archie comics where he like manipulates time around him.
Of course he's in the.
Gonna say
of
it,
course
but
this
here
shit
it
is in the Archie comic.
The Archie comics, of course, is the true canon we stick to here on Debate This.
Mm-hmm.
We're actually paid. We're halfway endorsed by Archie.
I get a quarter every time I say Archie comics.
I almost want to like pick a new person and go with like Gravity Man just to further prove you wrong. Like, why didn't you pick the most obviously OG one or OP one?
Because it's broken. Have you
Who
played
cares?
the Mega Man? Have
Todd,
you played the Mega Man
Todd,
when you use the
we're
gravity
talking-
power? You're just lifted out of the air. Like they're just gone.
Todd,
the things are
great.
gone.
Todd, we're talking about smashing giant robots into giant monsters. None
Yeah.
of this is based in reality.
I kind of want
And
every
you
advantage that I
trying
have.
to put this in reality is bumming me out.
I'm trying to take the handicap so it makes my victory that much sweeter. Because the normal answer would have been I pick Gravity Man and everything flies off into space. The world's saved.
Done. You win. Congrats,
Podcast
Todd.
over.
You did it first.
Let's talk more about Johnny Depp's zipper pants or whatever the fuck we talk about in this podcast.
My question is, why would you even mention the two OP ones you didn't go with,
So,
except to bum me out.
No, I've got to say, wait, no, stop. I got to say, on Kyle's point, like, you're kind of like that kid who got called into a meeting and just started saying sorry for things he did without really knowing why he got brought in there. Because you were like, I could have won today. I could have come here to play.
I want you to know
but I want you
all
to
the
know
shit
that
I could
I
have done.
chose not to.
If I had drawn my Blue Eyes White Dragon, I would have totally beat you guys. But I didn't. But I didn't.
But I definitely had it. I just left it at
But
home.
it was it was 5 cards away. If I had drawn 5 more cards, I would have beat you guys.
There's a lot of podcasts ahead of us. We'll get there.
Real quick, just to kind of close on this point, I have some suggested reading for all of you, and those of you at home, you'll see it in your the episode notes. There's some really good clips of both of your chosen characters just getting taken out like fucking punks in the Mega Man cartoon.
I'm sure there's no bias there, and there aren't any videos of Armadillo Man getting taken out like
Armadillo
a punk
Man never made it
either.
into the cartoons. He wasn't important enough to make it into the cartoons.
It's just because the
Our
cartoon
characters-
came before. That's all. Next
Yeah,
prompt.
the OGs.
Next prompt.
All right, while I am enjoying all of this discord, I want to focus us on a new point and give you something else to argue about. So obviously the first issue here has already been addressed a little bit between conversation, is that each robot master is weak to the power of another robot master, and typically it's some elemental, very cliche bullshit. In the incredibly likely scenario that a kaiju matching the exact weakness of your robot attacks, what upgrades will you make to your robot master to not get absolutely decimated speedrun style?
Right. So we already talked about Armored Armadillo's one weakness is electric spark.
What happens when he gets hit with electric spark? It's like he probably kind of gets hurt a little bit, right?
No, Todd, he loses his armor.
Oh, the thing that makes him special.
Yep.
Oh man, that's a bad design.
So here's what we're gonna do. In order to avoid that, it takes a big man to admit their weaknesses. Okay, this is how we grow as people. This is how we grow as a society. So the way we're gonna fix this very obvious flaw is we're gonna do 2 things. We're gonna outfit Armored Armadillo with lightning rods on each of his ends of his hands and on the top of his head to conduct any electrical attacks coming toward him.
I don't think you know how lightning rods work. But go
That's
on.
how it works. That's how it works in this world with giant robots. And then also we're going to weave a rubber coating into its outer shell and add rubber soles in its boots, in its little shoe boots.
I'm sorry. Did you say
to
put him in a gimp suit?
Put him in a gimp suit to
no,
ground
I'm
against
not reading
further
that.
lightning attacks.
I heard we're putting small booties on this giant armadillo, and I think that's adorable.
Thank you. We got one in favor. All right.
So you're gonna insulate your armadillo.
I'm gonna insulate the armadillo.
Now I hate to poke holes in your plans, but again, as someone who watched Pacific Rim for the first time exactly 24 hours ago, I would say at least 60% of those monster fights happen in the ocean. I'm not so sure your rubber shoes are gonna help you in the ocean, and I would like to know what your plan is to prevent your master from losing its shell.
Well, he told you it's a gimp suit. He's gonna put him in a big rubber gimp suit.
Actually, it's armadillo galoshes is what he's doing. So
We're gonna give him little booties, and then we'll give him giant water wings so he can kind of float out there and just.
Final question. You have said both the words headcanon and lightning rod on his head in this podcast, and I would like you to explain the synchronicity of those two things.
Oh, absolutely. So it's not head cannon; it is an actual head cannon that he shoots a big blast out of, which does like a crap ton of damage, and it's pretty unavoidable. So I don't know. We'll just throw the lightning rod on top of it or something. We have
Okay.
We have scientists. We can pay to figure that out.
That's for the design nerds to figure out.
Yeah.
Andrew's,
We'll fix it in
Andrew's
post.
broad scopes.
we'll cover up the big red flashy part with metal or something. I don't know. It'll be all right.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
All right. Well, with your sureness that it will be fine, let's move on to Kyle. Tell me about Gutsman's weaknesses and what you will do to make him not weak in those ways.
So Gutsman's first weakness has been bombs, explosions. The same thing everyone's weak against.
I too am weak against explosions.
Yeah.
Wait,
I'm sorry, are you not weak against explosions, Todd? Do you just go out and like take explosions to the chest?
that's
Todd the
that's-
Dino Croc Thomas. I'm not so sure how weak against explosions you are.
Well, I guess I'm making a face because didn't you say he's a foreman, and don't foremans regularly deal with like explosions and construction and things?
Not his team.
He builds things.
different. Oh,
Different team.
He is a builder.
he's the blueprint holding foreman, not the blow up things.
He's
foreman.
the general contractor. Not
he puts things up. Explosions tear things down and make
Oh.
him angry. That's the logic there, if you were wondering.
I wasn't, but okay.
So we're gonna outfit Gutsman with shock absorbing padding. If you think Zero Dark 30, when they're walking out to the bomb and it's really tense in that giant, like super hot suit, it's gonna be like that. Which is gonna really help him out.
like
It's
one of
gonna
those
add-
bomb squad suits.
Yeah, it's a bomb squad
Okay.
suit, but for a kaiju fighting robot.
Sure.
And it's gonna
Wait,
and it's gonna
that
help
was
him out
good.
because it's gonna add to his bulk and make his hits that much harder because he's just got more weight to throw behind it.
Isn't it a padded suit? So by definition, would that not make his hits weaker?
no, it's got them gloves. Gloves are cut out. It's
Yeah,
just,
yeah,
a sleeveless padded suit.
It's punching hands and then padding all over the rest of him. It's fine.
Okay.
One of the things he's great at is throwing things. So if they're hurling bombs or explosive eggs or whatever it is kaiju
Do
would
nowadays.
spit out that would blow up, he can just scoop it up and chuck it back at him because he throws things.
And I'm not gonna. I think your argument's dumb, but I'm not gonna make fun of that. What I am thinking right now is I'm just imagining this giant Jaeger like running out to battle and then being like, "Whoop! Forgot to put my suit on," and goes back in and has to like slide on a suit.
It's all right.
Like-
And this was better than my other idea of outfitting him with like a weird tennis racket to like slap the bombs back. So those were my two fixes for his bomb weakness.
Kyle, while I'm hearing this, I have to imagine that you were only considering the big cartoony like orb bombs and not like
Yes,
actual
yes.
bombs, right?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
They're giant like monsters. They're shooting out
Like
like
Super Mario Brothers 2 bombs.
yes.
It's Bomberman bombs.
Yeah,
is
Bomberman
what they're
bombs.
throwing at you.
Yes.
Okay.
100%.
I just imagine Kyle's kaiju coming out like Ralphie's little brother in A Christmas Story, like waddling out to fight the kaiju.
But then he swings that arm around and clocks them in the face and they're done. So it's fine.
So he is fully padded, but his hands are not padded.
Correct.
So he is again weak to the same thing everyone else is, and that's horrifying firework incidents.
Yes. But he doesn't play with fireworks because he's
That, and I don't think he
He's
has fingers.
responsible.
I think he has like mittens.
Oh,
I think
fingers?
I'm
Does
looking
he?
at many pictures of him with fingers here.
I'm specifically looking at pictures of his fingers, actually.
I think he's one of the few that has fingers. That their arm isn't just like a sword.
Now that Gutsman's fingers is in my search history, Todd, why don't you tell me about your weaknesses?
Gutsman's Fingers is the name of my post grunge rock band.
That was the joke I wanted to make, but I was just gonna let it go at that point. Yeah, so one of the reasons why I brought up the fact that you wouldn't pick Flashman because he can stop time, and why you're asking that's like a power that I talked about, is because that was the weakness for Quickman. So that's not a thing. It's not a thing in this world. Whether we want to pretend that kaiju are real
Because
or
it's
not,
your weakness, it doesn't exist.
Kaiju,
So we're talking about
it's-
kaiju.
and since I brought the ball, I make the rules, and I'm going to take it home.
It's my
That's-
Nintendo.
There are kaiju that manipulate time. If you've seen the Tom Cruise movie Edge of Tomorrow or the manga it's based off of, all you can do is kill or something. The title of the manga is really bad. The title of the movie's not great
Yeah.
either. But both are really good stories.
And there are kaiju that can make you hate your parents, like in Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Sure.
Yeah. Also, in the sci-fi universe, there are kaiju sharks that come out of buckets of water. So we really don't
Okay.
need to have this canon discussion.
So, okay. I'm still sticking with the time stopper attack that Mega Man would have to use to like really easily beat Quickman It's not real. So get out of here with that. It's unrealistic in this very realistic Gundam movie we were putting together. Quickman is so fast and so nimble, but he does have, those few specific historical weaknesses. So one of them is, it's not a huge weakness, but he is vulnerable to high heats and intense winds. So we're going to solve that by making Quickman exclusively out of pure tungsten, which is a metal that can withstand something like 6,000 degrees Fahrenheit before it melts. Just like incredible science. So
why don't they make planes out of the stuff they make the black boxes out of?
Thank you, Matt.
There we go. What is it? Jet fuel can't melt Quickman. So we're here.
There it is.
We're
That's
here.
the episode title.
Done. And so tungsten is also very, very light, so it won't slow him down. Now, regarding the concern that he could be blown away, because that was apparently in one of the games, he was vulnerable to Windman, who could shoot tornadoes because he was so light. We're going to engineer boomerangs into his feet that if he gets blown away, ballistically blasted out of the zone of conflict too fast, they will grappling hook, enable, and deploy as anchors to bring him back down into the giant ocean that all Jaegers fight in.
All right.
There is an ocean.
All right, so I didn't bring the worst idea to fight combat your weakness to this one.
First of all, I want to poke holes in this a lot.
Please.
Tungsten is super heavy. Like, that motherfucker is going to be, it's 4 times heavier than lead or than titanium.
But it's lighter than lead. I read that on the internet.
Okay,
It must be
so
true.
your
Okay,
range is
have you ever heard of the
titanium.
term a lead balloon? Lead is really heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could call it a baloney balloon. Baloney is heavier than air, or helium, or whatever you want to use in this.
That doesn't track. Your
Yours don't-
robot
you
is
don't
gonna
track.
your robot is gonna be, to get that thing to move like a
Yeah.
foot, you're gonna be
Uh-huh.
overpowering its engines, and that thing is gonna overheat, and then ironically
And
melt.
we're adding on the it moves fast. That's its whole thing. So you're
Yeah.
you're trying to
Okay, what are
move
yours?
this heavy
What are yours
robot.
made out of? The internet told me that tungsten. Okay, debate this, fans. You can just at me if because I refuse to Google it again. If tungsten is lighter than lead, I have it in my show notes.
Your mistake was naming a specific metal that we can run fact
Yeah.
checks on. You're not a metallurgian, Todd.
Is
You could have
tungsten
just
lighter?
you could have
Very
said
good
use of time.
unobtainium because it's super light and fast, and we would have couldn't have done anything because it doesn't exist.
Oh, I'm here. I know osmium is the most dense metal! Exclamation point.
Get out of here.
That's a thing that I just learned.
Just get out of here.
All right, well, I was disinterested in chemistry in 10th grade, and I'm even more disinterested in it now. Also,
The
I'm
bottom-
mad at you.
make it-
What? Huh? Go ahead. What?
Make him out of whatever metals you want. He's so fast. It doesn't matter. And what are your Jaegers made out of?
I'm gonna make mine out of balsa wood.
Good.
Carbon fiber, baby.
That would help
that's
the
the
whole
answer.
electricity thing, actually. It's better than the galoshes.
I'm mostly just mad at you, Todd, because you said boomerangs on his feet, but those are gonna work like anchors. So, I was thinking that
grappling hooks.
Grappling hook
was what it
anchors,
was.
to
Because that
anchor
makes
him
so
back
much more
down.
sense.
I 100%
To anchor him back
thought
down.
that what I was gonna get was, if my robot gets knocked out of the park, he has boomerangs on his feet, so he just spins right the fuck back to
No.
you.
I love
That's not
that
how
scene.
physics work.
You guys, I love that scene in Crocodile Dundee where he throws a boomerang and he uses it like a grappling hook to get to the other side of a building like Batman. That was my favorite scene in Crocodile Dundee.
Wait, was that an actual scene in Crocodile Dundee? Because I feel like if it wasn't, it could have been.
Yeah, I haven't seen Crocodile Dundee.
This is Schrodinger's moment of Crocodile Dundee. If I don't watch the movie, that scenario has or has not happened.
That's true. It both has and hasn't happened.
That's not a kaiju. That's a kaiju.
Nope.
All right, well,
Damn. We're just firing them out today.
good times. Okay. So considering this whole topic is a blatant ripoff of Pacific Rim, let's lean into that right now. The Jaegers in Pacific Rim aren't sentient robot masters. They're controlled Ready Player One style from an internal cockpit. And I said Ready Player One style before I watched the movie, and what I should have said was Power Rangers style, because they're literally just Zords. Anyway,
Gundams, I think, is better, more cool. Go on.
I'm not here to have the argument with you as to whether or not Power Rangers is cooler than Gundam, but I want you to know it's obvious that our opinions differ. Anyway, which video game hero will control your robot master in this bullshit world where tungsten is a light metal?
And
Right.
boomerangs
In this-
function as grappling hooks.
Andrew, go ahead.
We all pick Smash characters, right? Like we did.
100%.
Yeah.
Got
Oh
it.
yeah.
Okay. So my character is going to be Samus Aran. And is it Aran?
It's Samus
I
Aran.
I've always said
always
Aaron.
said Aaron.
Okay, we'll say Aaron. Samus Aaron.
Hey, Aaron.
Yeah. Sam
Aaron.
S. Aaron.
Samus
It's a dude.
Aaron. So I think, and the reason I picked this is in this backwards universe where tungsten is lighter than lead, or lighter than titanium. We're gonna
Now
control
you're just making shit up.
the way that we control the way that we control the Jaegers is remotely. So I like to think like there's like Samus is in a big room and it's kind of like a VR thing where she's like her movements or the Jaeger's movements. Jesus, the Jaeger's movements mimic her movements. So if that's not what you had in mind, I don't know. Fuck you. That's where I went.
That's exactly what I had in mind until I
Cool.
watched the movie. And I was like,
Oh, yeah.
shit, this is different than I thought
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah, that's more like they just have joysticks and they're like, zing, zing.
Yeah.
Interesting point. If you watch Neon Genesis Evangelion, so the reason I picked Samus, I think she is the closest to Armored Armadillo in both movement and tactics, like how they fight. So I think she'd be a really interesting analog to control the massive Armored Armadillo Jaeger. So I think like to think about like her movements compared to Armadillo's movements. You know, he's naturally defensive. He doesn't make a lot of unnecessary movements. His big attack is rolling up into a ball, and when he rolls up into a ball, that's when he gets his outer shell and he bounces all around. He kind of like pinballs around the arena. I get that Samus has never done that, but just roll with me here.
Roll with me.
Roll
Talking about
with me.
Armadillos and Samus.
Ding ding. So Samus has the morph ball, obviously. So I think that would be really cool to see her. She moves around with the morph ball. It moves around with the morph ball, and she can kind of guide it around that way. So very conscious movements. So he's not so much pinballing everywhere because that works inside a room, but doesn't necessarily work in the middle of the ocean or on the beach, close to the ocean, not in the water. Furthermore, I think they're very similar in kind of their shared views in morality, which to say that a giant walking armadillo has morality is admittedly weird, but in the Mega Man X remake, Mega Man Maverick Hunter, it's really bad. Do not play it. They remade it for PS1 with like shitty like 32-bit polygraphics, but they added a bunch of dialogue to give all the different bosses personalities because a giant metallic armadillo just can't be a giant metallic armadillo.
It's true.
So the voice that they gave Armored Armadillo was very like, I am under strict orders to protect this mine. He's very like, he's got like that soothing baritone, but he's very driven. He's what I would call like lawful neutral. Like he's just taking orders, right? And that's kind of what Samus is all about. Like she's just taking orders. Like Federation tells her to go destroy a planet, she's gonna go destroy a planet and get paid and get the hell out, right? So I think their temperaments are very similar. And Armored. So X is going back and forth with Armored Armadillo. He's like, I'm going to protect this mine. And X is like, you don't need to take orders from someone like Sigma. Whether he's insane or not, it's not my place to judge him. Enough talk. It's like he's a giant armadillo, and that's why I like him.
I don't 100% know how all those you were
A lot of unnecessary characterization, I feel like.
Well, welcome to Capcom's remakes. Like that's
but like
that's what they do.
Your Samus Aran holodeck was good, and I was really there with you, and then you took it somewhere, and I got lost on the way.
That's what I do.
He drives his point until no one is on the ship with him.
Yep.
And then keeps going a little further than that.
Only the brave come to this corner of insanity. Kyle, go ahead. What or who is driving your kaiju? I'm sorry, not your kaiju. Driving your robot master from within or from a remote location. That part's rather irrelevant.
So, what or who is a good way to phrase it? So he's the leader of the bunch. You know him well. And he's finally back to kick some kaiju tail. I'm fighting Kaiju with Kaiju here. Donkey Kong is gonna pilot my Gutsman Kaiju fighting robot.
Whoa, you guys, Kyle, are you saying that Donkey Kong is a kaiju? Because that's kind of awesome.
Isn't he? He's a giant ape who
I get behind that.
Well, is he
who
giant?
throws things. I mean, he was. I think original
He's like 8 feet tall.
Like original arcade Donkey Kong 2, where like Mario is yay big and Donkey Kong is like yay big.
Climbing up buildings, stealing people.
I think Donkey Kong is 100% a kaiju that we've brought into our home, and now he's fighting for our side.
A domesticated kaiju, if you will.
My point is they both punch and they both throw things, and I'm pretty sure the original Gutsman model wasn't too. It's not a baseless claim to say they were trying to rip off Donkey Kong as best they could, because original Donkey Kong just throws things that you have to dodge, and that's all you do with the original Gutsman fight. Yeah, they both throw their weight around. They're both known for punching. I can't extrapolate it out much further like Andrew did, but I don't think you want me to either. Imagine Donkey Kong in a VR headset with like big VR like robot translating gloves on, punching things, and you'll see why it is the best option.
See, I have one change if you're willing to listen to reason, Kyle.
Let's hear it and then decide if I want to take it.
Fair. I think this is an example where you need him to be in the suit like a giant mech, because I want to see that wind up punch. You know what I mean?
The wind up punch was definitely in mind.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not the details of whether he's in it or far away in the VR headset are lost on me.
We've got people for that. It's fine. We'll figure it out later.
But yes, his punches, his arm movements directly translate to giant Gutsman robot arm punches, and that's all that matters.
I also like to think, because there's always the pilots suit up and they like get latched into the thing they're doing. For Donkey Kong, he's putting on extra large size versions of those Hulk fists, those big green like fists that were so popular years ago. Like, because Donkey Kong's already huge, and he's putting on even huger giant fists.
Yes, those and his tie, and you've got it.
And it's like a close up of him like putting the tie on. Like
he takes off his everyday tie and puts on his ass kicking tie.
His taiju.
All right, I don't want no more of that. Todd, please save us from this place.
So a couple things. I was doing some research on the internet, and wouldn't you know it, tungsten wasn't the word I wanted. It was titanium. Titanium. So, because tungsten is a very heavy metal. Whereas for those of you, so welcome to Science Corner on Debate This. It's a podcast within a podcast where Todd talks about the weight of a cubic foot of metal. And so tungsten is...
Oh, God, he's going to do it, too. He's going to tell...
Tungsten's 1,200 pounds per cubic foot.
Oh, my.
Titanium is 200. So titanium, friends. So, but real quick, I'm just going to say titanium a couple times on a dry run so you could edit it in over all the times I said tungsten.
Absolutely not.
You can do that if you want, but I'm not going to
Titanium.
do it.
Titanium. Okay, so now that we've got those, good job. So my Quickman Jaeger, now that he's made of titanium, is much faster than my Quickman Jaeger made out of tungsten.
Well, I think that's all the time we have for today. It was really fun to talk about titanium, but we probably have to get to the super secret question. Good arguments, Todd.
So he's fast and nimble, and he's a little bit arrogant. So it's going to need a fast, nimble, and arrogant pilot. Someone with nerves of steel or titanium in this case, and a renowned Formula Zero racer. I'm talking about a bounty hunter with an electrified knee, perhaps. That's right, you're going to get a hot injection of Captain Falcon to come and meld in to a virtual reality Hugh Jackman real steel all mocapped up situation. He's going to show you his moves. And by show you his moves, I mean he's gonna dash across the water Naruto style and blast you with a hailstorm of bladed boomerangs.
Oh, did Todd manage to shoehorn Captain Falcon into an episode of Debate This again? I'm so surprised.
You talked about Donkey Kong putting on his ass-kicking tie. Captain Falcon wears a ass-kicking ascot. Like he's got his ascot and a scarf, and he's like, eh. He walks up.
Todd,
Yeah.
you've disappointed me a lot today. And
Do you want to talk about more titanium?
No, I want to talk
More
about
titanium
why in
facts.
the world you picked a video game character to pilot Quickman that wasn't Sonic the Hedgehog.
So I
Because
thought
he's
about
bad
it.
at making decisions.
no,
That's the
no,
answer.
no.
Todd's gonna say give a long, good
Mm.
reason, but he's bad at making decisions.
Because he needed someone as useless as Quickman to pilot it.
Okay. you're how okay, if your freaking Jaeger how is your Jaeger powered? I hope it's not electricity at all. Anything.
If I've learned anything from playing Kingdom Hearts 3, it's that the power of friendship will power everything that we ever need.
What is that? What powers the gummy ship? Because that's what powers the Jaeger.
That's what fuels my fire, my inner desire.
No, and I thought about Sonic. I legit did, because I think that's where that one also makes sense. I just think Captain Falcon's a way better fighter, both in tiers of Smash Brothers and also yes.
All right.
I mean, you can think that. You're entitled to that opinion. It's wrong.
It's absolutely
But-
wrong.
As soon as Sonic lost his old Supersonic Smash, it was game over for Sonic. You don't need him anymore. This is a different episode of Debate This,
yeah.
but
Yeah,
my point
let's-
is Captain Falcon and Quickman work. They're both a little arrogant. They're both cocky. They both move fast. Cut print. Send tweet.
Great. All right. Well, now that we have talked about your master, their weaknesses, and their pilot, I need to inform you that in this weird alternate reality in which we are thinking, the worst has happened. Because of reasons, the robot masters have become self-aware. Luckily, no giant robot comes without some undisclosed weak point or self-destruct button. So what do we have to do to shut your robot down in the case that it turns evil and tries to destroy the city in the third movie that they will inevitably shoehorn into this series?
Take off the galoshes. Done. Next question.
That's it? That's all you got?
Yeah, is this question what is the big blinking weak point? The big blinking red weak point of our robot master?
That's exactly what this question
What's the
is.
off button?
Yeah, what do I have to hit 3 times to stop your robot master?
I mean, I think the obvious answer is some remote power, remote failsafe, 2 keys going in, turn at the same time, and it just remote shutdown. But I think I like to think that the galoshes are the source of its power, and I'm going to stick with galoshes as my final answer.
A really, really elaborate mousetrap-esque situation, Rube Goldberg machine.
Big ol'
where
wedge of cheese.
It pulls off the galoshes, and the Jaeger goes, no.
I'm meaningless again.
So do you have to pull the galoshes off of the Jaeger, or do you just have to rub your foot on them?
Yeah, you've got to pull them off like the scene in Infinity Wars where they're trying to get the glove off him, except it's 2 galoshes on his feet.
No, you have to get a comically large empty or banana peel, and then set the banana peel near him so that he goes, "Whoa, no!" And he slips off, and then them galoshes will come off.
And gets stuck turtle style on his back.
Yeah,
He can't
he
get
gets
up.
stuck in the shell.
See, I think that's the real answer. I think his weakness is getting him on his back, and he just
Yeah, and he
can't roll back over.
Yeah, he does that thing in Filbert and Rocco's Modern Life where he's just like, "Oh no, oh no."
I'm nauseous.
Yep.
I'm nauseous.
All right, Kyle, go ahead. What's the big blinking weak point of Gutsman?
So all the images I see of Gutsman show him with a giant red dot right in the middle of his chest, Iron Man style. So I'm gonna go out on a limb and say, driving something through that giant red dot on his chest will incapacitate Gutsman.
So it's anything? Well, because so here's the problem: is I don't want your big blinking weak point to be so weak that a kaiju can take it out. So is it just anything can go through the giant blinking red dot? Or does it have to be a tungsten sword?
The most powerful sword there
It's
is.
so heavy.
it's too heavy for a normal person to lift. So it's good that it's tungsten.
It's like King Arthur's sword.
So if we're gonna go, if we want the less obvious answer, I think the best way to incapacitate a rogue gutsman robot master would be binding his hands in some way, so he can't throw his signature punches, and so he can't toss items. If you bind his hands, he just loses all his power, shuts down.
This is so far given me this great image of Armored Armadillo stuck on his back like a turtle, and Gutsman extension corded to a gigantic office chair.
Yes. Yes, those are the two silliest extrapolations of the things we suggested.
Good. I'm glad. Well, Todd, go ahead. What's the extrapolation that I can make about your silly solutions?
So the whole concept of what we're doing here is pretty silly, and I think the only way it's going to get weirder or sillier is just to like double down. And so for Quickman, his biggest weakness, and just in general, he has an aversion to having
his
time.
heavy tungsten body.
Someone presses the titanium to tungsten converter button, and that's game over. No. My thought is that he has a strong aversion to having time stopped around him, so we're gonna call a Flashman Jaeger with the time stopper power to stop time. And that Jaeger is piloted by Sonic the Hedgehog. That's the only way. and so what you realize is we've now kind of started a Russian doll situation. If that one goes rogue, we're gonna need like a Gravity Man one.
It's almost exactly like a game of Mega Man, from which we're taking this whole concept.
It's effectively we've created a rock paper scissors situation of bloodthirsty Jaegers that have all gone rogue. So. Let's just hope that we don't have, a loss of galoshes or extension cord malfunctions, because mine is also not great.
Awesome. Well, with that ends my questioning. So give me your closing statements. Sum it up for me and tell me why your defense mechanism and your robot master deserves to be on the front line to protect America from the Kaiju.
Well, Matt, I think if we learned anything this evening, none of the robots that we've brought forth are the most powerful. We can agree on one thing.
As Todd clearly spelled out that he left two more powerful robots on the cutting room floor.
I sidelined them.
Yeah, we definitely went with the C team. So of the C team, I still have to argue that Armored Armadillo is easily the most powerful, again, of this group. He's the only one of this group that can't easily be taken out by just the normal Buster. And, the other two bosses, you can literally just hop around and shoot them. Where Armored Armadillo actually has tactics and, has weak points and has parts that you can't hit, unlike a little jump and shoot man. That is why Armored Armadillo, the Purple Garden, is going to lead us to victory against the Kaiju.
Got it. Awesome. Kyle, what you got?
So that would all be great if we were fighting a little jump and shoot man, but we're fighting giant monsters that, based on the reality we're pulling this from, sprung out of an interdimensional portal. And I've got the only one who is just there to beat and throw them back into that interdimensional portal from which they came until there are no more of them to punch away. Gutsman he's the longest running robot master in the Mega Man games. He doesn't give up, and he's just going to keep showing up and punching them back into submission like the good kaiju fighting robot he was made to be.
All right, and Todd.
So, not only are we not fighting little jump and shoot mans, we are fighting monsters the size of a city block, lumbering huge monstrosities. You need something that is quick and nimble, something that is reliable with weaponry, something that is lighter than tungsten, and something.
And that's his tagline: "Quick man, lighter than tungsten,
not the heaviest metal."
And something that has an armory that is replenishing of itself. He shoots boomerangs that come out in trios, and he has an unlimited supply of them. He can wield them as giant weapons. Quickman is built to look like a Jaeger. Quickman is such a good option. And for the naysayers that want to say, why didn't you go with Flashman who can stop time. I'll say this.
40% of the Mega Man bosses.
when we were talking about what your greatest weaknesses are if we were to deal with like a kaiju that has it, I'm telling you, if we deal with kaiju that can freeze time, I for one want to be the first to welcome our new kaiju overlords because we're done. It's pack it up, go home. No amount of galoshes or you know, padded ballistic sleeveless vests are going to save us if that is the case.
Fair.
Great. Well, I have a lot to consider. I've enjoyed your presentations, and now I'm going to take my notes into the Debate This situation room and meet with the Debate This heads of the Security Debate This Council, and we're going to come out here with a Debate This, I don't know, fucking plan to defend America. So while we're working on that...
Stuck the landing.
It was a 10 until it was a 3. With that being said, why don't you guys give each other some good vibes?
Cool, yeah. So Kyle, I'll start with you. Gutsman is, of these three, he is the most Jaeger-like. 100% hands down.
Thank you.
That was a very good pool. I like the idea of him being like a wrestler, like a big robot wrestler. That's really fun to me. And Todd, yours was definitely the most entertaining option. Is that a good vibe? No,
Yes.
I think the boomerang. I think if we can make some adjustments to the boomerang, it's like
More boomerangs.
more boomerangs probably.
Mm-hmm.
More tungsten boomerangs. I think we could make this a real second place candidate.
A real runner-up at homecoming.
We can take him to the Western Front.
Good understudy. Yeah, Andrew, I think Armored Armadillo is actually like the more creative choice. It's a like you know, a good defensive, like a good tanky kaiju fighter. I think that was a hot take on this question. And Todd, you're right. Quickman does look very kaiju-y.
Jaegery.
Jaegery? That's what I said. What'd you say?
I said kaiju. My bad.
And I think, I mean, logistics of infinite boomerangs and tungsten being lighter than lead aside, was a good kaiju fighting pick.
I know the debate part of the episode's over, but I don't want to argue about limitless boomerangs when we literally had a discussion of creating black holes and freezing time and reversing gravity that hamstring me at the beginning of the conversation. All of that said, I would agree a lot with what Kyle said. I think Armored Armadillo is probably like one of the best ones, if not the best one from that grouping. There was a weird like Pegasus unicorn thing that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh fuck the Pegasus. All the X bosses are like animals. There was a flying Pegasus one where he like shoots rainbows in darkness or something.
It was a weird like jump away from the normal like robot master, but I think it was still pretty cool. And so again, unless you are equipped with electricity, Armored Armadillo is like a real son of a bitch. Like it's funny, like in the research for this episode, looking through videos and reading wikis and whatever. Like I watched someone do the Buster only run on like
hard.
Armored Armadillo, and it sucks.
Yeah.
It like it's so bad because like
you have to cheese it.
you can only hit him when he's shooting at you, basically.
Yep.
Like so you got to play chicken with your shots, and then you see like the side by side comparison of when you use electricity, like
then he goes
gone.
down like a punk. Well, like him and Spark Mandrill were created that way to showcase, like to teach you how to like hey, in this game you have to use weaknesses because you can play the OG Mega Mans and never use weaknesses and be fine.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, like you have to do it now.
And then I really like Gutsman. In fact, when I was kind of brainstorming for this, like out of what Robot Masters I knew, I was like, man, Gutsman, just like, he's like kind of the Iron Giant.
Yeah.
He's kind of Donkey Kong. Like, he's just cool. And so when I saw that you had already picked Gutsman, I was like, all right, like I can find someone else, but Gutsman's a good one. And he's, you know, obviously like one of the, like I think you said, shows up the most with Cutman.
Yep.
It's funny, he kind of plays like the big dumb brick in the old cartoon, which I forgot that I had watched growing up. And so Yeah, I thought Gutsman was a super good pull. I was really glad that you compared him with Donkey Kong.
Donkey Kong driving
really
Gutsman is real good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also really enjoyed kind of doing some research on Gutsman that I think I had posted in our shared group. Like, he's a civil engineering robot master. Like,
Yes.
I just think it's so cool that he's like, yes, we're gonna build this infrastructure is going to stand for test of time. Like, and that he also works alongside of Bomb Man, which is unfortunate that he's weak to bombs.
It's his weakness. Yeah. It's all right. That's why they're friends. So they don't have to be enemies.
There's this like crazy elaborate lore with like all the robot masters like having real functional jobs in society. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, because the original ones were, at least the original ones were created by Dr. Light and then Dr.
And then corrupted
Wily.
by Dr. Wily, yeah.
The other fun thing that I really like about Gutsman is that his animation is what Mega Man does when you grab someone in in Super Smash Brothers.
Yes.
That's why like Mega Man holds him up real awkwardly.
Yes.
That is the Gutsman pose.
Huh. That's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, fun fact.
Right. Well, now that I've
Now, do you want to hear more about tungsten and titanium? Because I got some of those facts tucked
All
away
right,
as well.
I think it's time to wrap it up.
yeah, I've got enough fun facts for the day.
Todd gets to pick the next episode, and it's going to be which metal would you build your...
Which metal is best metal?
All right. Well, with that question laid out there for the world to answer on their own time, I'm going to answer the question we came here today to answer, and that is which robot master should take the front lines against the kaiju. Now, after having my discussion with with the Debate This Security Council, we have come to a decision, and the first part of that decision is that it definitely isn't Todd. Todd,
man.
Todd, you disappointed me a
Nuts.
couple too many times.
And that's how they said it. They didn't say we're not going with Quickman. It's not Todd.
Yeah.
Is it? Did I need more titanium tungsten? Was that what I was missing?
No,
Was it not enough titanium tungsten talk?
I was afraid it would be.
to be
that.
honest with you,
Tungstanium.
when your answer to the first question is, I could have done better, but I chose not to, it's a hard sell to a security council.
Hey, Matt, let me defend Todd for a second. You either get a good job or a cheap job. You don't get both.
I will also do a callback to when I picked Dracula, the monster that has all the powers, and it was like, well, he's got all the powers.
Also, I was disappointed that it wasn't Sonic. When you said Quickman,
Okay,
I thought
Todd loses. Got it.
I thought that this was the time that we were going to shoehorn Sonic back into a debate this episode, but no. So
That's
that
fair.
leaves me with Kyle and Andrew. Armored Armadillo and Gutsman, both very good choices and very good pulls, and positives and negatives to both for sure. I like that they are both big brute force defense walls. I'm into that. I really liked both of your captain situations. Andrew, your whole Samus Aran holodeck idea was really cool, but I would like to remind you that I watched Pacific Rim 24 hours ago, and shit in Pacific Rim got real bad for the Jaegers when there was a kaiju that showed up with an electric shock power. And with the canon already set that kaijus can use electricity against us, I'm not sure that weak against electricity, even with galoshes, is going to go on the front lines of defense. So, Kyle, specifically for seeing Donkey Kong spin his arm, but it being Gutsman looking kind of like Jeremy Renner in the Hurt Locker when he takes the helmet off, to see him goofily spin his arm around.
It's that like super anime zoom out too, where you like see Donkey Kong zooming it and it like cuts out and Gutsman's doing it, and then you get the split screen of them doing it next to each other, and then like the punch happens at the same time right as the music peaks, and it's awesome. I just want everyone to know that's what I envisioned when I picked Donkey Kong.
Rocky 3 ending. Absolutely.
And with that is going to do it for this episode of Debate This. So thanks for listening. Follow along with the argument on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at DebateThisCast, and check out our website at debatethiscast.com. If you like what you hear, please leave us a review so more people can hear this stupid, ridiculous, dumb show. Until next time, I'm Matt Cole.
I'm Andrew Fashionable Galoshes Henderson.
I'm Kyle. I don't have a creative nickname for the end of the show, Harper.
do we want to wait and let you recut that?
You can like think of one. It's fine.
I can
Or
use
just
that
use
one.
the one. Or just use the one that you
let's
have here. which
let's
is
leave
pretty
that
good.
in, and I also partially edit this show and can cut one in, but I like mine.
That's not- and I am Todd. Titanium melts at 3,034 degrees Fahrenheit. Thomas.
And we're saying thanks for debating with us. And if you think we're wrong, then you can come fight us by the swing sets, nerds.